Hey, what's going on, everybody? Jamie McDonald and Mike Banning here with Mirrorless Minutes, episode number 19. And I'm sure you saw the tagline asking if you're tough.
Yeah.
Are you tough?
I don't know.
And the show, in case you don't know, Mike and I are going to be talking about these slick little TOUGH TG-4s that Olympus just released. So, with that out of the way, just say, how's it going, Mike?
It's going good. It's going good. I'm actually looking at the camera right now, not looking at the video screen like I should be. But so I said, well, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take a picture of Jamie with that mirror, that reflection thing, so I can send it out.
Oh yeah.
That reflection mode. Yeah, I know it's been a fun week with the camera. Sure has.
Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead.
So you think before we talk about that, let's talk about why you just ran in the house. What were you doing out of your car? What's going on?
Yeah. Trying to pack. We got a little bit of packing to do here. We've a small place to get out of Chicago. I swear we've been talking about since November of last year, maybe. Already, because when I take off for work tomorrow, after I'm done with work, I head out and be pulling into Chicago and won't be leaving till next Wednesday, actually.
Yeah.
So got a way to go. Did I freeze up there, or was that you?
Yeah, you did, I think. I don't know if it was you or I, but
okay, that's fine. I'm just making sure and see if there's something here.
Yeah. I was just checking my bandwidth settings to make sure I was okay. I've already done the deal where I run through the house and yell at all the family members.
Yep.
Internet for the next half hour.
That's what I just did too. So
yeah, I'm hardwired into my network here, but I'm still like totally bandwidth freak. So
right. Yeah. We've got a couple big days coming, and I think it's going to be exciting. Just now that we're at talking to Chris, we're at 300 conference goers. And, if you listen to, I posted today about Rob Kruger there, Kruger talking to Chris, and I listened to the whole thing, and he made the announcement, and I'll repeat it, that next year's conference is June 23rd to the 26th in Chicago. But he leaves next week to New York. He made for the Out of New York conference in the fall of next year. So there's some inside tips. If you listen to the podcast, you'll hear it.
Yeah, good on that one.
Yeah.
So for those of you who have done the New York thing this year and looking for something a little bit different, it looks like New York's an option versus Chicago. So
yeah,
that's exciting. I'm hoping to be a part of that because I've never been to New York, so that would be
definitely. Yeah, that would be great. I don't know how much drone flying you could do there, but.
Yeah, I think the drone would stay at home.
Yeah, the drone might stay at home, but there'd be some cool things to get there. I know I'll be there in October. So I'm looking forward.
All right, so I think you.
So the out of Chicago, one thing I think we want to mention is we're doing 2 classes, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, shoot. Okay, am I back?
Yeah, I think your bandwidth is taking a dip. Do you want to log out and I'll re-invite you?
Yeah, I am going to do that right now.
All right, let's give that a shot. See how it works.
All
right. Now we can talk funny stuff about Mike while he's not here to defend himself. All right, let me shoot out this invite here back to Mike, and we'll get him back on here, hopefully with a little bit better connection. Fickle internet. So while Mike's gone, let me just tell you, it is definitely a step up from the TG3 to the TG4. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm pretty stoked on this camera. I'm always excited about the Olympus products, but there's something about these tough cameras that I really like. And I would say it's a big thing, but it might be a little thing too. So I think you know what I'm talking about. And I don't see Mike. Is this going to be a solo act tonight? How silly would that be? Send him another invite. Hopefully he gets it. The internet gods are frowning upon mirrorless minutes tonight. It's because I'm not wearing a hat and my hair is in crazy mode. know you're not supposed to do any silent parts in a audio show or even in a video. Mike's telling me via Facebook that he is not getting the invite. So let me Facebook message him the invite. Don't you love this? This is definitely one of the more interesting shows. Generally, we have a problem with our guests and not our our host and co-hosts here. So I have now messaged him the invite, and I will also send it on Google Plus one more time. There he is.
All right, how about that?
How about that?
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah, you put me on the spot there. I had to ad lib quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I saw you. I joined live for a second.
Yeah.
And the invite comes up in a different area.
Ah, okay.
Which
it's funny. I'm always on the sending invites end, not the receiving invites end. So
right. So I was going crazy.
Foreign territory to me.
All right, we're back. We're back.
So
do you want to talk about that Sunday difference in Chicago?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So those of you who are attending out of Chicago, or those who follow the show and know that we're doing conferences there, workshops there. Mike and I are doing one on packing light to help you with the inspiration in your photography. Mike being a traveler for work, me being a commuter for work, and that's kind of the gist of day one's talk workshop conference. I don't know what you call what we're doing. It's a class. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
So Sundays was going to be the same thing, and due to the way things are working out with numbers, we decided to change it up a little bit and do something based kind of on the workshop, our last workshop together that we did. And it's going to be pretty much 100% focused on the Olympus Mirrorless camera. So it's going to be getting the most out of your Olympus Mirrorless camera. And I'm super excited about this one because we're going to be able to interact with the attendees, you know, pretty much on a one-on-one basis, just kind of helping them get the most out of their cameras. I mean, there's a ton of features in these cameras. And in all honesty, most people barely scratch the surface. They just kind of get comfortable in just using it and just getting photos out of it, that they don't, I think, dig into just how customizable the camera is and some of the features that are kind of hidden away down in there if you're not sure where to look for them. So Sunday's class has been changed up, and it's going to be the getting the most out of your Olympus Mirrorless cameras. And like I said, I'm totally excited about this one too. It's
I think this one's going to be a real blast too, just because like you said, when everybody gets caught up in their one way they're used to shooting, they go, you know, and stick with that way. You start to open up the other ways. We saw that on our class and their creativity. And then you start seeing the pictures they're posting on Facebook or wherever they're posting, and you're going, oh my gosh, guess what? I just found out some new ways to be creative. So now I start to dig in more and more. So I think if you pull anything out of that class, you pull 1-2 good tidbits that you go back and shoot with. And I think we may have found our formula for the, well, let's just call it the out of New York and out of Chicago for next year.
There you go.
I want to be at both.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
That makes two of us for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you say, Mike? We've kind of tipped everybody off on what they can expect at Out of Chicago this upcoming weekend, and hopefully maybe we'll see some of the viewers there. And we'll move on to these. They are mirrorless, you know.
Right.
I mean, it's not exactly a DSLR here, and generally we don't talk about the point and shoot offerings, you know, from Olympus or any of the other camera manufacturers for those of you who are rocking another brand. So Mike and I were handed a couple of totally cool brand new TOUGH TG-4s, the successor to the TG-3, you know. Right. And we've been shooting with them for about a couple of weeks now, and kind of putting them through their paces. So I think we'll talk a little bit about that.
Couple of weeks and give it.
And I'll let you lead off with it, because I know, in all honesty, you know, we were talking about the getting kind of set in your ways with a camera and just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. I kind of fell into that rut with this camera a little bit. There's certain features of this camera that I just gravitate towards, but I know you dug really deep into it and experimented with things that honestly I haven't messed with yet. So I'd be excited to hear about your experiences with that. And what you've been doing.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, I know what you're talking about. I think you might be possibly talking about maybe the macro mode.
Maybe a little bit.
I'm just surprised I didn't. I'm taking a picture of it. I'm surprised I didn't call it the Jamie McDonald macro mode. But maybe they just haven't cleared that.
We're working on licensing
or something. But I will say, yeah, I did work with things, and what out at street shooters. Believe it or not, I found this article on the TG3, and now that he added a little thing at the bottom about the TG4, talking about how good it is for a street shooting camera. And I will say, when it was raining last year in one of the workshops I did in Chicago, I didn't take the OMD out because I had the M10 with me, and obviously it was pouring. So I just grabbed this out, and I was able to walk through the streets in absolute drenching weather. You know, probably people looking at me because I'm the only one without an umbrella, and just snapping away. And I got some awesome shots with that. So I think there's probably some level to that. But let me, you know what, best way I think to talk about some of the things that it's done, because I know we'll talk about the one main feature, and that is that it's now shooting RAW, and you can get RAW in some of those menus. I'm going to go right into some share and share a couple shots and talk about it. Can you see the lake there, the little man-made lake?
Sure can.
Okay, great. Well, that's Oakland University out here in Rochester Hills, and went out there night. That's actually where my youngest son attends, Oakland University. It's just a Bear Lake, I think it's called. But this is a shot taken down, basically camera, not totally under the water, of course, but right in the water, you know, hanging in the water so I could get really low, and shot up a beautiful night with one of the art filters on. And if this might have been the pop art filter. But just a great shot, great expanse shot, and, you know, taking the oranges, here it is straight out of the camera, you know, and just look at that sky. I mean, this is almost a, you know, mid-Michigan sky that you always get.
Hey, so quick question. Is the aspect ratio on that 16:9 right in that shot?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I was say, because that's wide, not panel wide, but it's definitely wider than.
Right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, when I took this, I took it in the 4/3. I looked, and, you know, I just didn't like the crop. Let's call it that, if that's a word. And I went right to the 16:9, and I just loved that. And on campus, so I want to just show two of the art filters that I really liked here that night. This is their clock tower that they just put in, this Carillon Bell tower that's at Oakland University, with the obviously the dramatic art filter here. Well, almost getting towards dark on its way, and it's amazing, you know, the amount of clarity still up into this area, no noise at all, really, for this kind of sensor. So I was really, I'm digging this art filter here a lot, this one. And there's not as many options as an OMD for the art filter. You know, you got dramatic, and you can't, you know, go back, you know, 5, 6 deep and change a lot of things. But I think I really like this one. But I want to show you two of the new ones, and I'm going to try to bring it up on my camera here too, just so I can get all the names right. These are not seen in an OMD that I've ever seen. These couple filters, and this first one's called Reflection. Now I'm going to hit it. Grabbed a shot of my car here over the weekend. It's a wild shot where, you know, double wide my car, let's see, and also the house behind it and the flags and everything else in between. But this is a really cool option to bring out. Just that if you're stuck and you've got a little bit of a rut, go out and shoot with this this reflection mode, and you look and you go, oh wow, is that really cool? So in fact, I even have it on right now as I'm looking around, and I was trying to take some shots. And then want to show you one more, and then we'll get back to talking. And this one here, this is the randomize feature.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
Yeah, and I mean, this doesn't work in a lot of shots. If you got a nice flat surface, something that you're doing that's recognizable, like the flag, this is cool. It still makes it, and it, again, right out of the camera, and it expands your, I don't know if I'll be going street shooting with this, but there's probably some pretty cool things I'll try. Yeah, so this is a neat little feature that's on there right in. It's not in the art filters, but it's alongside. And I think they put on another one. It's called, and I don't have an example, but it's called Sparkle, where it takes the stuff like into F16, let's say, and puts some nice sparkle on all your lights and that. So I'll jump back out of there. All right, yeah. So what? Now, how about you? Yeah, I know you've done a couple, and
yeah,
they've been pretty impressive.
So I did a blog post on my site just talking about it's one of those little things that I do kind of regularly. I don't get to travel a whole lot, or it sounds so pathetic, but I don't really get out a whole lot, So I just take advantage of, where I live. I live in a small town, and I've got a couple of wooded lots and a small wetland really close to my house, literally like 500 or 600 feet from my house. I can get into this little big, I don't know, 10-acre area or whatever that's part wetland and woods, and I just explore through there. And I always end up in macro mode when I go there. So I'll just kind of go over some of the shots that I took when I was doing that, and I'll talk a little bit about each one. So let me get this rocking and rolling here. All right, so the first image should be up here, and it's of this tiny fly. And I really need to stress just how small a lot of these things are that I'm photographing when I'm doing macro. For example, this fly could quite literally sit on my pinky fingernail. He's that small. It's actually called a long-legged fly. I'm so nerdy that I look these things up. And this is straight out of the camera. There's no cropping in to get closer or whatever. You just set the TG-4 to microscope mode. And this one is not taking advantage of what they call focus stacking, which is where it would snap a sequence of photos at varying focal lengths to change the depth of field and give you like a deeper depth of field. This is just straight out of camera, single exposure. And again, the fly is tiny. The image is huge.
Yeah, that is. I saw it. So that isn't the focus stacking mode?
No, it's not. And neither is this one here. A lot of these were just kind of just shot really on the fly, just really quick, just kind of sneak in there, grab the photo, and just continue walking. Wow. And the next one is of this little, they call them skippers. It's just a really small moth or butterfly. I really don't know, honestly, with this one. But again, this is another one of those, I call them fingernail critters, because I try to find things that are small enough to actually fit like on your fingernail when you're shooting them, just because I, at least myself, know that they're ridiculously tiny, and to be able to show them at this size, it's such a cool thing to be able to do with these cameras. And again, another just straight out of the camera in microscope mode. The next one, got a fair amount of feedback online from this one. This is a gray tree frog. I know he's green, but they kind of come in different colors, I guess. And this is obviously his eye. And again, I was telling you that I was shooting things that are really small, and this one was in my hand when I shot this photo. The next photo, you'll be able to see that, like all the other things I was shooting, he was actually really, really small. So the detail in the eye in this shot just blew my mind. I was just floored at the level of detail that I got out of the skin, straight out of the camera. No external flash. It was just sunlight, and you can see the sunlight on my hands in this shot.
But hey, can you go back? Can you go back?
Yeah.
So that is this like a catch light in his eye? Did you have a reflector up there?
No, that's the sun. And here's the cool thing too. So let me just tell you, with the tough cameras, and I'm going to fire mine up here just to verify it so I don't put my foot in my mouth, but I am 99% certain that you can do this, that you can take your camera. All right, never mind. I take that back. I thought that I could trigger a flash externally with this one, and I'm pretty sure I can. I just have to dig through the menus. But no, this wasn't off-camera lighting. Other than that, big giant fusion reaction in our solar system called the sun. So, and to show you that I can shoot more than just bugs and frogs with it. This was actually, I think, the very first photo I shot with the camera the day I got it. I pulled it out of the box and it was evening by the time I got to it. And I walked out to our flower garden and just fired this one straight out of the camera. And I love it. I'm totally floored with the quality of the images for a point and shoot. It's just astounding. And I have to show this next one off because, like some of the big brothers in the Olympus family, this camera now has live composite. And for those who haven't heard us talk about what live composite is before, I'll talk about it now. Basically, you'll take a base image and that becomes your background. And then anything in the scene from there on out that is made of light, let's just say, that changes in the scene. So any changes in light in the scene get added to that base exposure in the background. So what you're looking at here is my neighbor's yard. I snuck into his yard because he has all the fireflies in the neighborhood. And I just set the camera up on a little Joby Gorilla Pod down in the grass and fired off the base exposure for the live composite. And this is like a 3-minute exposure, and all those streaks of light are fireflies, or lightning bugs as we call them here, lifting off out of the grass in his yard. And in the background you can see that I had a car go by, so you see the tail lights streaking by as he probably speeds through my neighborhood. So yeah, totally cool that you have live composite now in a point and shoot camera. It's definitely one of my favorite features on the Olympus cameras, and I know it is yours too. I think one of the unsung heroes of the Olympus cameras.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I'd like to get that live composite renamed too. Like you can get your macro renamed. Yeah. I love the live composite. I mean, there's, that last one, that Firefly one. I think something that people that do know live composite might find very interesting.
Yeah.
Notice the color and the daylight in the outside.
Yes.
That is crazy, because if you know live composite on an OMD, you need to be dark.
Correct.
It's tough not to do, or it's tough to do live composite anywhere at all, of course, in daytime, unless you hook on a 10-stop filter.
Right. At which point you're cutting out most of your light that would change, so you almost negate what the live composite can do.
Yeah.
And it's something that I haven't, and I know we'll get a question about it at some point. It's something that I haven't tested yet, but I don't know how light it can be out when you do this. But like Mike said, you can see in that photo, it was very, very light out. It was not even remotely close to dark. The street lights, I don't think, were on yet in my neighborhood. So
when did you take that? Did you take that at the same time you did the flower shot?
It was just after. I'll tell you what I can do, and it'll only take me just a second here to do this. I'll just check the the EXIF on that real quick here. So, well, you can keep talking while I
Okay. No, that sounds good. I'm going to do, since you were on the macro thing, I want to show 2 shots. So I have to just talk about my macro. I don't know if I'd call it macro ability, but I'll just call it my macro try. Let's see. I'm going to go back into share real quick. But I think I wanted to talk about exactly what you're seeing, that flag now, right?
Yeah.
This is the next one. So this spider on a brick wall, this is the size, probably let's just call it the true size, very minimal, very fingertip, but you can't really tell what he's doing right there. Well, I went into microscope and I went into the 44 times. I try to write that down. 44.5 times microscope. And here's what the fly was doing. He was eating that bug. He was sitting here. If this tells you anything about what you can do with this camera, I mean, I keep looking at this myself back and forth going, holy crap. I brought that back into the house. I was over the in-laws for Father's Day, and I go, you got to check this out. Nobody could believe that, that I went ahead and you're actually able to see him eating. The only thing I couldn't see is every once in a while you would see it going into him, but I don't know how you even, get that to work. That's I think called an X-ray.
Yeah, right. That's in the next version.
Right, the next version.
Yeah, so that live composite was shot at 8 o'clock in the evening. So
there you go.
If you're familiar with 8 o'clock in the evening this time of year in Michigan, you know it's pretty much light out. So impressive to say the least. And I think we'll have to do a little experimenting and see just how light you can have the scene and work a live composite.
Yeah, because you all of a sudden now you start thinking, well, I might be able to bring the pixel stick out, and try some.
How incredible is that? Yeah,
some light painting.
Right. I mean, one of the first things I was thinking of after I shot this and I looked at it, I started thinking, man, if anybody's familiar with looking at, they call them time stacks. It's where basically it's almost like a live composite, and a lot of people do it with clouds because clouds are light, and you'll get like the stacking up of the clouds over time. And I'm thinking, man, you could do that right in the camera with this.
And I think I may have something to show you next.
No way. Did you do this?
I thought after I saw yours, you see what happens? You post that. And I said, holy crap, I didn't know it could do so light. So I tried. It was a little later. All right, I'm going to show you right now. But I want to say, as I'm going over to that, I want to talk real quickly about some of the different things besides the raw. I've noticed this already. The battery life is definitely better.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that.
I looked it up because I had a hard time believing. I'm going, is it really better? And it sure was. I checked it out, and looks like they've added what they feel from an Olympus standpoint on their specs, about 50 more frames to a single charge.
Okay.
And it feels longer than that to me, but I haven't. I shot a couple of days with it. Obviously it's not going all day long and shooting a lot of video,
right? But it's ready for you when you pull it out of your bag or your pocket,
right? And that's the difference. So here's that. This is just sitting on my front porch, and this again is so it's about 9:20 is when the sun goes down. So this might have been 10 or 5 to 9. Let's say 25 minutes before sunset or right near sunset. But and it's not the greatest one. I think this is 3 minutes.
But you're getting the
but you can see that stacking going on that you were talking about. And I do think there's an option there on a nice night to get some colors. You can see the colors still stack and nothing's really blown out because that sat there. I just sat it on my porch, looking out.
The wheels in my head are turning.
I know.
That's the possibilities.
That's what happened to me too. That's what happened to me. Well, you know what? Since I'm going on here, you want me to quickly show it? So of course I had to try live when I heard that it have live composite. I know it has raw, and I'm excited about the raw because of the different things you can do. But I jumped right to the live composite, and then I also found out that in the live composite, sort of like unlike the OMD, is you can do it through the OI Share app. So now you're watching your live composite on your phone. So you can have that thing extremely low. No one knows what you're doing, and I'll show you what I mean. Here's a fair, and I just got this lady watching some other Ferris wheel or some contraption, and I was so happy she wasn't moving because I got about 5 where she kept moving. I wanted to go over and ask her, can you stand still for a couple of minutes? But she finally did. And I just thought this looked so cool because there's no way she saw the camera down at my feet.
That's awesome.
And I was just watching through my iPhone. She probably thought it was just another person reading his email or texting. But yeah, it is, there's a lot of options. I mean, I love to probably frame it better and everything. I was just excited she didn't move. So that was pretty cool. Same thing here. And the other thing I've noticed is a little bit different because you can't set them as specific, I think, as you can in an OMD.
Right.
You pretty much got to take, I'm going to start my live composite. This is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So they're quicker. So this one here, which is sharp, I like this a lot. Done in portrait mode, and but it takes a minute, to get it. So I mean, you're still having it on a tripod and everything, but it's this is my spirograph wheel. I'm not, Jamie, do you remember spirograph?
I remember spirograph.
All right. Okay, good. Just checking. Some people may not that are watching the show, but this would be like a spirograph. And then they launched fireworks the same night.
Oh, wow.
And another one that I was really happy with is here we got, and this is probably a 5-minute deal because everybody had stopped to watch the fireworks, and this couple, thank God they didn't move. So I'm going to have to hand out a card and say, you're in a live composite. Can you please not move till I ask you? But, we got the wheels going here and the other rides of the twister. but then the fireworks blowing up between them, I really was happy with this one, that everybody stayed pretty still. And so yeah, the live composite's a lot of fun in here. I think people that I'm going to stop sharing here. I think people that don't know live composite, this is a great way to get introduced to it, because you don't, in the live composites on the OMDs, you've got to do a little bit more, I would call it manual setup.
Right.
You know, to get yourself ready. You can get a lot more specific though, which is great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this one you can just hit live composite and shoot, like not unlike it's a point and shoot.
Yeah, exactly. There's no thought involved. It's just make sure you set it onto live composite and just go.
Right. And I really happy that they've got this on there. In fact, I'm certain that you and I are probably going to come up with some different things, knowing with Chicago coming up, and we just may happen to be got some access to a rooftop. Yeah, I can see some clouds in the city or something happening here.
My spidey senses detect epic photos coming soon.
We just can't forget to get over to the class,
Right.
We're Jamie and Michael, they're shooting.
They must be out with that damn camera again. So speaking of that camera, we should probably throw it out there that Olympus is actually giving some of these away. They've got this super cool Summer of Tough contest that they're doing, and it's already begun. So we're a little bit late, announcing it or what have you, but we just kind of wanted to make sure that we had the product in hand and we could kind of speak about it before we start talking about it. But the premise of the contest is that Olympus wants you to just kind of give, your photos of, your epic, tough, adventurous, fun summer. Share your photos with them, and they do not have to be shot with a Tough or even an Olympus camera for that matter. You could shoot it with whatever. If you're an adventurous person with a pinhole camera, go for it. And share them on all the social channels and use the hashtag Summer of Tough. Olympus will be looking on, let's see here, they're going to be looking on Facebook. So if you share them on the Get Olympus page on Facebook, use the hashtag Summer of Tough. Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and they actually have an entry page on their website. So if you go to getolympus.com, I'm sure I don't have their page pulled up right in front of me, but I know that there's a link to it on their page somewhere, and we'll have a direct link to it on the YouTube page after the show is done as well. But every week for 8 weeks, is it 8 weeks straight?
Yeah,
for 8 weeks. They're announcing a winner every week for 8 weeks, and I think we've missed the first 3 entries, so there are 5 more chances left to win one. And what happens is, if you're one of the people who are selected to win a camera, aside from getting a camera, once you get the camera, you're now entered into a second stage or a phase of the contest where you can win a $5,000 voucher or well, not a voucher, it's a travel stipend. You get $5,000 to spend on an outdoor expedition with your Tough. Now, if you've received a Tough as one of the 8 winners, then your next photo submission to enter into the second phase, you need to shoot with that new Tough camera. So, and I'm saying this to you like I'm expecting you to win a camera because I'm rooting for you. I want you to win one of these
cameras. How cool. You win this,
awesome.
Yeah. If you're watching this show and you win this camera, you're definitely on as a guest.
Yes.
We're fine. We want to know if you won.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So again, more details they'll go on our Facebook page, or we'll put them on the Facebook page too, but we'll put them on the YouTube description after this show so that you can learn all the details of it and where the links are to go and register. But again, all you have to remember though, in all honesty, if you're socially active in any way, is hashtag, all one word, Summer of Tough. So hashtags are used for things, people. Just remember that. So when you put that hashtag out there, it might win you a brand new camera.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty cool contest. I'm sure we're not allowed to be in it, but we definitely want to root for those that watch this show to get you in. And you can submit. There's no number to submit, is there, in the first part?
No, you're right. That's an excellent point.
You could submit as many images as you want.
That's right.
Get out there and take some great images. And, if you don't have the Tough camera and you really want it, throw a bunch out there.
Yeah.
Get them going. There's a lot you can do with any camera that you have to show a pretty cool, tough summer.
Totally.
Things to do. So I tell you what, I'm looking through my notes here to see if there's anything else. I know, talk about the raw. I know what I want to say on the raw. In Lightroom, the raw is already recognizable, correct?
Yes, it is. That's right. Yep.
So you don't have to wait for them to make up a raw profile. It's there.
That's always frustrating, isn't it? To be an early adopter and get such an awesome new piece of equipment, and then you got to wait for a raw update.
Well, I didn't even, when I started shooting a couple, I wanted to get off the raw. I said, well, I'll bring up the Olympus viewer.
Yep.
And so I figured I have to go through that and then turn it out and get it back into Lightroom as a TIFF or something. Then I just threw them into Lightroom. I said, holy crap. I think I even messaged her. I said, I can see this stuff.
Yeah, how cool
it's
is
here
that?
And it's ready to roll. So yeah, you don't have to wait. You get it now and you can start working. I did shoot a couple time-lapse movies.
Yeah. So
I'm not going to show them because they're not that nice, but I've got to work on that. But you can do the 99 shots. I think you can go up to.
Yep, 99 frames.
Right. And let's see. Should I show? I'm going to show one last one.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is something I can see I'm going to use right off the bat this weekend in Chicago. And next week I have a workshop that starts on Monday that I'm doing. And in Chicago, and this is I just love the old green look on the art filter of this thing, and the way it captures the motion. This just looks like an old fair, someone's old slides, that were redone, and so this is going to be something I'm definitely going to use here in the streets. You can see it already because this was dark. Obviously, it's pitch black. This is after the fireworks were done. And so you can see it's a lot of fun, I think, in that sense. So yeah, there's so many things as you start to dig in here. Again, I did try one, I'll tell you, unsuccessful, and maybe I'll get it to work right. I tried to put this in a fishbowl, 3 fish, and I tried to do a time lapse with the fish swimming past it. Well, the fish didn't like it. It shot 99 shots, and I'm wondering if it made a lot of noise down in there or something too.
Oh yeah.
Probably echoing to them. I'm probably going to be in trouble for that. But it did look cool. I had a picture of it sitting in a fishbowl.
Sweet.
So I think there's a lot of things you can try to do when you get one of these.
I can honestly say that I've seen as many cool pictures of the TOUGH cameras as I have from them. I'm sure between your fishbowl photo and Alex McClure had some super cool photos from the bottom of his pool.
Yeah. I saw those.
The camera's so cool. You can do so much fun stuff with it and to it, which is fabulous to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I want to bring up something about out of Chicago and it's only going to be important to those attending, obviously, and only important to those that are Olympus users or those considering the jump into the Olympus ecosystem. Or I guess Micro Four Thirds in general. If you're a Panasonic user, you might appreciate these things too. But I know that a lot of people have been asking about the 8mm fisheye and the 7 to 14mm. Yeah. And for a while there, it was not sure if there were going to be anything there for people to check out or whatever. But so I've got the 7 to 14 here, and I've got an 8mm as well. So for those who are curious about those lenses, seek me out, and I'll be glad to pop it off my camera and throw it on yours and let you fire away with it for a bit and see if it's as exciting for you as it is for me to shoot with. Having shot with the original 4/3 version of the Olympus 7 to 14, I can tell you that this lives up to the expectations you'll have if you shot with it as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I've been silent in responding to probably a dozen people so far asking if I've got one that people will be able to see. And so, yeah, we do. So, and I don't know if Olympus is bringing them as part of the live drive kits. I'm guessing probably not because of the availability of it right now. It's still a high demand, low availability product right this second. So, but again, seek Mike and I out and we'll be able to definitely make sure you get some cool stuff in your hands.
And just by chance, if you're on, at my workshop or Jamie, our workshop at our photo walks,
yes,
I know you're doing a separate one out to the Millennium Park with the bean and all. That 714 is going to be awesome to do.
Yes.
to get some cool shots and actually get really close to the bean with that 7-14 and all the weird reflections that'll happen. Yeah, that'll be cool. So yes, seek everybody out, and we definitely want you to try those, because that's half the fun of it, is just seeing what it can do.
Exactly.
Because it feels so solid. And if you like that 12-40 and you felt the 40-150, I'm going to tell you, not only is this one as good as those, I don't know why. When I shot it last month, the dang thing feels better. Solid. It just feels rock solid. I used to have that model, or that 14, one in another brand, the one with the Nikon brand. When I used to shoot those, when I had that big arm, and and that was a cool lens. I mean, you could do so much with it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody out of Chicago. I know we talked about maybe getting a Mirrorless Minutes corner somewhere in the Friday night reception.
Yeah,
we should get everybody together so we can introduce each other instead of always being on the web. I'm looking forward to that.
Right. Yeah. Some real life.
Right.
What do the kids say? IRL. In real
life,
person to person. It'll be very cool.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'll just tip everybody off right now. I'm shorter in real life than I appear on the internet. Okay. So
I'll vouch for you.
All right. So I guess we've hit the 40-minute mark here. I think we've said everything that we want to say or need to say, and the next show will be post out of Chicago, and I'm like Mike feels, I'm sure, totally excited for any of our viewers that are going to be there. I can't wait to meet you guys, and for those considering it, you still got a second to jump in there real quick and get over there. So
yeah, definitely.
So from Mirrorless Minutes, you guys take care, and we'll see you around soon.
Take it easy, everyone. See you.